How's it going, y'all? TK's here, and today I have less of an unboxing and more of a showing. Back in December, I went to Atlanta to visit the fam, and while I was there, my dad and I went to the hobby store to look at some slot cars, as we like to do. And they actually had a whole bunch of used slot cars that somebody had came and traded in. And there was a bunch to choose from. They were all Hornby. And I ended up going with two classic F1 cars. First one is the Hornby Ferrari 156 F1. Again, I love how much detail these slot car manufacturers put on these cars. Beautiful Ferrari in red, of course. And the next is a Hornby Lotus in this beautiful green. Hold up. I did not do my research properly when making this video. And it wasn't until now when I was typing in the description did I realize that the Lotus is not a Hornby. It is a Cartrix Lotus 16 Graham Hill 1958. So, anytime I say Hornby and talking about the Lotus, just filter that out and know that it's a Cartrix. Back to the video. Tires are very, very skinny. And this one has been kind of sealed up. I don't think I'm going to try to take this one apart. I probably won't take either apart. I just don't want to mess them up, but I am going to run them on the track. So stay tuned and we'll get these things zipping around and see what kind of time we can set. What do you think's going to do better, the Lotus or the Ferrari? Take a look at these tires again. Should be interesting. So we'll get over there and see how they do. All right, let's start with the Lotus here. It did a 6.25, not very quick. Tires are so skinny. I found that it was doing kind of burnouts to get started, but once it got going, it felt pretty planted, especially compared to the Ferrari. This thing is loud. Could probably use some grease. Just drop a little dab of grease in there. But this thing was very loud. It chattered a lot. There was a lot of bouncing at the start. And then, like I said, once it got going, it felt pretty good. Compared to the Ferrari, it stayed planted. This has a tiny little magnet here. So you're not getting the same amount of grip as you would, say, from a Scalextric or Carrera out of the box that have the big bar magnets in there. But overall, it was a lot of fun. I thought it was cool. It looks cool on the track. Again, I love the color. The driver in there is super cool. Lotus is fun. Old Formula One. Gotta love it. So, is it fast? No. Is it fun? Yes. And let's move on to the exact opposite. The Ferrari. 8.25, a full 2 seconds slower. And I don't know that I got more than one lap without spinning out. I mean, just barely giving it any gas. This thing was sliding out. It was popping out of the slot, like even on the straight, it would just kind of pop out. So maybe a bigger guide would help with that. But these tires had zero grip. I mean, I was barely giving it any gas, trying to go as slow as I could, and I would still spin out on the turns. However, very quiet and smooth. When you did link it up right and make it through the turns, it felt good. It was smooth. It was predictable that you weren't going to have any grip. That's for sure. But in a straight line, it was quick. It could grip on the straight line. It didn't have the burnout effect like the Lotus did, but it couldn't take a turn at all. Like, I was going so slow, and that reflected in the 8.25, and that I couldn't even get 2 laps in a row without coming out of the slot. So I think it's cool. I think this thing's gorgeous. It's a fun challenge. I think maybe working on the tires a little bit and practicing. I mean, if you're light with your thumb or your trigger finger, depending on how you run it, you might be able to get something good out of this. But for me, both of these cars were more an opportunity to get some cars while hanging out with my dad. I like F1. I'm a big fan. I like the history of F1. So these older cars I think are really neat, and the details there. So these will more just sit on the track. I have a row of cars that I just keep out there more as display, and we can throw them on, have some fun with them, but not be competitive at all. But yeah, these are my first Hornby as well. So that's a fun little branch out. Very cool. I would love to find some more of these old F1 cars just to add to the collection. Let me know what you think. Do you guys like the old F1 cars? Do you like Hornby? Do you have any of those? Or do you prefer the more modern Formula One or GT cars that are available there for, like, from Carrera or Skeletric? But yeah, if you don't mind leaving a like, subscribing if you don't mind doing that as well, I would appreciate it. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And we will catch y'all on the next one.